All right, welcome back to the SilmFilm Script Discussion, Season 3, Episode 6, Part 5. Aha. Okay, yeah. I thought Marie was frozen for a second because she didn't say anything. Anyway.
Sorry, I figured you had it that time.
No, it's not your fault. Okay. So in Act 1, we still have we have Cirdan meeting with Thingol and MacLeod. Cirdan gets the tour and the invite. No answer. Okay. Act 2. I feel like we should, instead of forgetting about Thingol this time, we should have Act 2 open up. Did I say Act 5?
No, Act 2.
Okay. Wow, brain work. Okay. So we should open up with Thingol, with MacLeod reporting into Thingol about what's going on.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
so does Thingol think this is good news? Like, yay, Lenway, I remember him. He was a great guy. Or does he think it's...
I think he's hopeful about it. I mean, cause like, why would he not be? Like, these are more elves of his own kin. Like, there's...
Yeah. Well, the why wouldn't he is because MacLeod just reported a situation where they almost started a war with the dwarves.
Yes. Yes. But MacLeod has kind of diffused it for the moment, and if MacLeod was able to pull that off, surely...
Okay. Okay. Okay.
It would be interesting if Cirdan stays behind. He can, like, there's plenty that he can do right there in MacLeod without Thingol there. He could talk to Melian, for example.
Right. If anything, let's delay his tour. Like, let's just have Act 1 be the news, and then sometime while Thingol's out, he gets a tour from Luthien or from Melian or from anybody we want him to talk to who's not Thingol.
Right. Because God forbid we spend more screen time with the protagonist of the episode. So anyway.
Thingol will be the one to extend the invitation later on in the episode after he comes back.
Yeah.
But the tour doesn't have to be Thingol.
That's true. It could give us it could be a good time for us to give Luthien more screen time because she's important. She's not really going to get a lot of screen time this season. She
only does things if we come up with things for her to do.
Right. So this is a perfect opportunity for that. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. All right. So MacLeod reports the greenhouse. What?
Further reason why it's a perfect opportunity, which I know you don't care, but it is because Luthien is a mirror that shows how people are. Like if you want to see what kind of character someone is, you just see how they react to Luthien. Mm. So Cirdan is going to treat Luthien as like, I don't know how
like a niece.
Yes, a niece would be a good relationship where it's his good friend's daughter.
Yeah.
So he's not like talking to her like she's a little girl or anything. Like, it's not a childish thing. But at the same time, totally respectful, nothing weird about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he enjoys spending time with her. It's fun for him.
Yeah.
To spend time with Luthien.
Yeah. Well, because she's also, in his mind, she's very young. You know, and she is, and she's full of energy and hopefulness.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah. So it's like an uncle-niece relationship between Cirdan and Luthien, and we should get to see that. That would be fun, and it would kind of establish Cirdan as a really solidly good guy that he has this positive relationship with Luthien.
Right. Right. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, continue.
So, all right. Thingol gets the report from MacLeod. I feel like Cirdan should be in the room because that way we can save time and this way Cirdan knows that Thingol's leaving.
Right. Sure. If anything, Thingol can say, if you'll excuse me, I have other things I need to do. And that's when Luthien will be like, right. Like, so we can have that like courtly manners thing happening.
Yeah.
Where Thingol has a court. He can't just be like, all right, peace out, I'm leaving, guys. You know, he has to make sure his guests are cared for before he walks out the door.
Right. Maybe Thingol puts Luthien in charge of him.
Yeah. I mean, probably he puts Melian in charge overall, but he puts Luthien in charge of Cirdan.
Yeah, no, I obviously. Leaves for parts. East. Okay, cool. I feel like now might be a good time to have our Tevildo Sauron scene.
Yes, that should be an Act 2 scene. Because I want to see them before we see Morgoth.
Yes. Tevildo reports a troubling lack of elves in Doriath.
So is Tevildo reporting this to Thuringwethel, who tells Sauron, or are they in the same place when they have this conversation? So does
I feel
Tevildo
like I think we have to establish that Sauron is with the werewolves now. You know,
so
and so having them all be there.
Okay. So Tevildo has come back to wherever Sauron's army is and then given his report. Okay.
Right.
So essentially he's given up. He's like, I cannot find these elves anywhere, and so I'm coming in to tell you I don't know where they are.
Yeah. Should Sauron... Maybe Sauron could poke him a little bit. Like, to kind of play on his... Like maybe... You know, kind of like you're losing your touch.
Yeah, I would expect that when you report a failure in a bad guy camp, you don't get away with it. It's not like oh, that's a shame for you that the elves seem to have gone somewhere. It's that's your fault. You had a job, you didn't do it. Let's blame you for it. So, so yeah, he should catch some grief for this.
Yeah,
maybe not as much grief as he would catch if he were reporting to Gothmog or Bulldog, but he still catches grief.
Right.
And
well, I feel like Bulldog and Tevildo are
they are. So he wouldn't report to him. My point was about personality. Gotcha. If you reported a failure to Bulldog, you probably get heads lopped off. Whereas if you report a failure to Sauron, he makes fun of you and he gives you underhanded comments.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a little different.
Right. We don't really have much from everybody else. Dragoon isn't a big talker anyway. Thuringwethel is keeping an eye on the situation. She might have a line or two, but I don't think that we need to overly involve her in the conversation.
No, she's listening, but she might not be saying anything.
Yeah, I feel like it'll get weird if she doesn't say a word. But like she's not the decision maker here, right?
Right.
So what we could do to give Bulldog someone to talk to in an Act 4 scene is we could have Sauron send her to check on Bulldog here.
Okay. That could be good. Again, reinforcing her role as go-between.
Right.
And messenger.
Right. One of the things that need to happen in Act 2, we forgot to do that again. Okay. I feel like going to... Oh, okay. What we could do is establish that... Okay, so here's my problem. I just rambled for 30 seconds. But anyway, the problem is I feel like it's too quick. It's too soon for us to go directly to Thingol is in...
Mm-hmm. How did he travel so fast?
Right.
Is your issue.
Yeah. And also I feel like it's like we kind of just hinted that Luthien is going to be spending time with Cirdan. Mm-hmm. I feel like the second scene after that is a little soon for that.
Right. So why don't we go back and spend time with the Green Elves and the Ents?
That's
just themselves.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, well, maybe even like the devolving, like MacLeod has kind of established a ceasefire.
Right. But
that's kind of devolving.
Yeah, the Ents aren't going to buy it if more trees get chopped down. So and the dwarves aren't going to stop chopping.
Right. Yeah. The tree chopping has continued.
And therefore the ceasefire is off.
Yeah.
All right. So
Well, I don't know that like nobody's getting shot at this point.
well, we're gonna destroy
But
that forge.
yes, well, yes, but that's like an Act 3, like an end of Act 3 thing.
Yeah, I know.
Or like a beginning of Act 4 thing. So what they could be doing is that the trees are continuing to be chopped down.
Mm-hmm.
Continue to be cut. Green elves watch from the forest edge. Gamil leaves the camp with wagons of logs.
Yep. Dun dun dun.
Yeah. With ominous sting music. And Denethor looks up at Treebeard, then looks over to his lieutenant and says, "Follow them."
These are some very interesting green elves we're coming up with.
Well, they're wild. You know, like that's like they should be unpredictable.
Yeah. Agreed.
Then I think we can do Cirdan gets a tour of Melian from Luthien. I also think that she should say something that will inform his decision not to go to Menegroth.
Okay. Like intentionally, or just something that she happens to say?
Something she happens to say.
Okay.
Something unintentionally wise.
Right. So what unintentional wisdom do we want to
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Well, she's never seen the sea.
Yeah, there you go.
Like she could, like as she's giving him the tour, she can ask him to tell her about where he lives, and and she mentions that she's never seen the sea.
Right. And so please tell me, I'm really interested in this because
right.
Yeah.
Right. And so the fact that she's never seen the sea will remind him that he's not going to be anywhere near the sea if he lives there.
Right, right.
Right?
Okay,
and that's
that
kind
works.
of his job. So, okay. That brings us to Act 3. Where we definitely should have Thingol meeting with the dwarves and green elves. But it's an early meeting. They don't get a lot done.
Okay.
Right? Because the dwarves need the fuel. Like
yeah.
Something's got to give. Like they're not able to come to agreement because the green elves are like, no.
Yeah.
That you can't just keep chopping down trees. You know, and Ents.
Yeah.
At the Ents at the meeting.
Yeah. Now Thingol, has he met Ents before?
No.
This is new for him. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's also a big deal.
Right.
Is he going to bring up the "Hey guys, we have a common enemy here and it's not each other" line?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Is he going to lead with that, or is he going to get to that point?
No, I think that's like his final argument, but it doesn't do it. It's not enough.
Okay.
You know, it's certainly not enough for the green elves because they don't that's not a real thing to them.
Right. They don't care.
Like we have an enemy right here. How come you're not helping us with this enemy right here? These guys.
Right. Yeah.
Like it should start out with, look, we've been able to live in harmony. We've been, in relative harmony. We've been able to, get past our differences. Surely, you can come and live in our forest and everything will be fine. And the green elves would basically be like, but what about this forest? This forest will get demolished.
Yeah. There's another issue here that is only going to come up like 3 episodes from now, which is in the battle where Denethor dies. It's the Green Elves versus the Orcs, and the Green Elves are woefully unprepared, and they all get slaughtered.
Right.
And it's on Amana Arab, the hill, which is to the west of Assyrian. The question is, why are the Ents not part of that battle? And if they are, how come they don't just slaughter all the Orcs? Because seriously, if you have an army of Ents, you're probably good.
Mm-hmm.
So is there going to be any kind of falling out between the Green Elves and the Ents over how the situation is handled? Where the Ents are like, we're just going to wander Beleriand on our own from now on because clearly you guys are too caught up with other elves and this politics stuff.
Right.
Are the Ents going to take off at the end of this and part ways with the Green Elves for a bit?
Yeah. Or at least distance themselves.
Yeah, in some way. Because I feel like there should be an innocent reason they're not there. It's not like Denethor went into battle and they snubbed him or ignored him or left him to his death.
They can end the episode saying, look, we get it, but you're supplying, surely you don't trust these people. And you're going to supply them with food so that they can continue doing what they're doing. Look, we don't want to be hasty here. We're going to take a really long walk.
Yeah.
But we'll be back.
Exactly. Yeah. I kind of want that to be how the Ents handle the situation, because we know the Ents wander all over Beleriand. The entirety of Beleriand, the Ents have visited. And they're going to spend most of the rest of their time in Assyrian with the remainder of the Green Elves. So something has to call them back where they feel like they have to stay there for the rest of time and not abandon them again.
Yeah.
And missing out on the battle where Denethor dies seems like the thing that would do it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We do have to keep that future.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, so things that are brought up in this conversation though are previous agreement with the dwarves. When Thingol brings up the common enemy thing, he can tell the Green Elves that they're under-equipped. He can warn them about that, which is going to turn out to be absolutely true.
I think Thingol would feel obligated to look at their armor and their weapons and say, oh, you don't have armor and weapons. Right. That's a problem.
Oh, by the way, during the conversation between Mablum and Gamel, Mablung is delivering payment. Gamel is picking up lumber for fuel. They discuss how they still don't have nearly enough equipment to arm all of the elves. Important.
So Mablung can praise Telkar's work, but still point out that it's only the beginning and that there's much more work to be done.
Right, because we need to establish that they're still not ready when the
orcs arrive.
Well, not necessarily when the orcs arrive. The Sindar are ready to go, but when the Havens are attacked, they're not. Oh,
right. Yes, I see.
Thingol meets with the Green Elves and the Ents. He brings up the previous agreement with the dwarves. So the Ents and the Green Elves make the argument that they're destroying life. I should call them destroyers of life in some way.
Okay.
Dwarves state that they need fuel to supply the elves.
Which would cast the Sindar in a questionable light to the Green Elves. What are you guys doing with these people? Yeah,
Well, and
You've
also
changed since last we saw you.
yeah, and it basically puts like it puts Thingol on his back foot with both of them because the dwarves are saying, "Look, we're just doing this to help you out.
Right.
You can't tell us not to do this when we're doing it specifically to help you."
Right.
Thingol, leading off of that, talks about their common enemy.
Yes. Okay. That fits.
And Thor says they have a common enemy right here. Oh, it talks about their common enemy and how the green elves
are under-equipped.
I feel like that's the end of that conversation. I feel like Denethor wins that conversation. Sort of. For a certain value of win.
Yeah, I would say win might be a strong word there. But it doesn't go the way Thingol wants it to go, clearly.
We can have our Morgoth Gothmog scene here.
Yep. Speaking of common enemies.
Yeah. Gothmog updates Morgoth. Morgoth is shown to be sending his power out into Middle Earth. He can even say things too. Like it doesn't need to be just visual done.
No, I mean he has Gothmog to talk to. He can explain.
Right. I think that was the concern, was that there was nobody for him to talk to. But we can there's no reason why Gothmog can run with winged speed. Fine.
Yes, he can. But the idea is that Morgoth is planning destruction and nihilism, and not just conquering, and that's a kind of a big deal. Like we haven't really seen that from him in earlier seasons because he was a creator a bit. He made things. Yeah. Now he just wants to destroy, and he hates everything. And that change.
And the only person he can really tell that to directly is Gothmog.
Exactly. Yeah. Because Sauron is not there and won't be there.
Sauron is not on board with that either.
He is not, which is why Morgoth knows never to say it to him.
Right. Not to mention, we kind of have a conduit set up for Gothmog to get back and forth between the area where he's posted and Angband rather quickly.
Well, if we wanted to, yeah.
Well, we don't have to if we know it's there, so we know that he can get back and forth quickly. We don't have to spend a lot of time on that, but we know that he can because he's done it before.
Yes, he has. So yes, and I think that it would make sense that Gothmog would report in. There's nothing to report, and he would do that in person because he doesn't trust any of his underlings to deliver that message correctly.
Right. Yeah, because it's a super complicated message.
No, the point is that he wants the message delivered that we're being vigilant and nothing has come, not we're idiots who missed the thing we're supposed to be looking for.
Yes, that's true.
He wants to make sure Morgoth hears the "we are super vigilant" and would have caught everything part of the message.
Yes,
but
which is kind of true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how does Gothmog feel about the total nihilism thing?
He's on board with whatever Morgoth wants.
Okay, I figured.
He's a yes man.
Yeah. No, I figured as much. It's just
Gothmog is the first person to use the word Lord in our television series.
That is true. So okay. It's a kind of big deal and it's new. Yeah. So he should react to it in some way. Yes. It doesn't have to be with shock, but it could be with surprise. It could be with, oh, sounds good to me. Exactly. There should be some reaction there other than, okay.
A really creepy, big, fiery smile.
All right, that works too.
Okay. So after we get that, we're still in Act 3. Should we visit Cirdan again?
He's got his tour already.
Yeah.
So he's spent his time with Luthien. Is Thingol back yet?
No, no, because he's not gonna. He's got to resolve this issue.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I don't think we need to go back to Cirdan.
Well, then where? Because we need something before.
We can go back to Luthien and Melian.
For what?
I don't know. If you wanted to go to Menegroth for some reason, there's other people in Menegroth. Was all.
Right, but well, I was thinking actually maybe Melian and Cirdan.
Okay. What would they have to say to each other?
Nice things.
Agreed, but also ominous things. These are the two people who have the most clue that there's something really bad coming.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there we go. I mean, like we can ratchet up the tension here.
Okay.
With those two quite easily.
So does Melian pull Cirdan aside because of the news he gave Thingol earlier?
Yeah.
Or does Cirdan seek out Melian?
I feel well, okay. I'll tell you what. I think that Cirdan does seek out Melian, but Melian is bringing him aside.
Okay. So it's a mutual thing of we need to talk to one another.
Right, right. But well, I think that Cirdan kind of has the impression that he's initiating this, but he's totally not.
Okay. All right. So Melian's questions for Cirdan have to be different than Thingol's questions. And Thingol would have asked things like how many and where were they and how far away and those kinds of questions.
Yeah.
So what does Melian want to know?
Melian is more in tune with what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm. She knows who more got this.
Right.
Possibly she knows who Gothmog is.
Well, she definitely knows who Gothmog is.
Well, but I mean, she met him, not necessarily. She's seen what he did to Ianwei.
Yeah.
But that's, which is still something. I mean, if you see that,
I'm trying to think of what she would ask that would illustrate that she's got a clearer idea of what's ahead here. What can she ask? I don't know that she can ask anything.
Okay.
I mean, I think that she's going to talk about how this is an enemy beyond anything the elves have ever encountered.
Yeah. So her message is more of we have to do everything we can to protect. Sorry, go ahead.
It's not that. She knows that they can't do it.
Right.
She knows that the line of communication to the west has to be kept open or created.
And that's on Cirdan.
Right. She knows that Cirdan's playing that Thingol's playing a fool's game.
Okay, so Melian's got to be the one who says something to Cirdan along the lines of, so why did you stay in Beleriand in the first place again?
Yes.
Like, what was that all about? Like, she's going to be opening up.
They could be in where the weapons are being made.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And by the way, we should start to see some elves amidst the smiths now.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be just dwarves anymore.
No.
Cirdan can talk about the strength of Menegroth and these amazing weapons that he's never seen anything like before.
Mm-hmm.
But she can point out that she can say something to the effect of, there are some enemies that no strength can overcome.
Right. Okay.
Set amongst forges of Menegroth, where dwarvish and Elvish Smith's work. Cirdan marvels at the strength of Menegroth and its armaments. Melian laments that some enemies no strength can overcome.
Well, if she's going to say that no strength can overcome, he's going to think that's pretty harsh and say something like, well, what hope do we have then? Yeah. Knowing that she didn't say that out of despair, like that she's counting on something.
Right.
So he could say that, like, what hope do we have? And she can counter with, why did you stay in Valerian and or on the shores? I think she should mention the shores. I think that's good.
Yeah.
And then, so that would kind of establish both of them as the kind of characters who speak wisdom and riddles, and just they get one another.
Yes. Okay. So we've set up that you can't be near the sea if you come here.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't your purpose near the sea?
Yeah, and isn't that the hope of all elves? And maybe you should stay there. So by the time Thingol gets home and it offers the invitation, Cirdan can respond immediately, thanks but no thanks, which makes more sense than letting him linger over a decision that sounds like it's going to be an obvious decision throughout the whole episode. Like, I like the invitation coming at the end where he kind of secretly smiles, like, oh, so kind of you, but no, that's not for me.
Okay. I'm okay with doing a 3-scene Act 3 because a couple of these are relatively long scenes, and we also have a 5-scene Act 1.
Yeah, and also I think Act 4 is going to have a bit in it because we haven't even attacked the we haven't attacked the what's it called yet. Yeah,
I feel like that's the opening scene of Act 4.
Yeah, which is what we do right now. So let's do that. Let's attack the forge of Gamel. What's his face? He does need a better name.
Gamel, what's his face? I did not set a timer. In fact,
it's been a while.
Yeah. All right. Before we do that, we're going to take a break in hopes that I'm landing this around the right time. But we're going to take a break. So if you're watching us live, hang in there. We'll be back in a minute. If you're watching us in the future on the tubes of you, definitely like and share the videos. If you like and want to share them. If you haven't yet, subscribe. And check out the links below for information on Mythgard, Signum University, the SilmFilm project itself, Mythmoot 5, coming up June 21st through the 24th. It's going to be awesome. Absolutely awesome. Mythmoot 4 was amazing. It was formative. Mythmoot 5 will likely be equally so. One can only hope that Mythmoot 5 will be half as magical as Mythmoot 4. Anyway,
they're gonna have the guy who invented Klingon there.
The guy who invented Klingon will be there.
I don't know his name, but yeah, he's one of their guests.
Okuda? Michael Okuda?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Anyway, I'll have to look it up. We'll be back in a minute.